welcome to Lynx Talk. We are back to discuss with you Season 1, Episode 14, all about Leslie.
And obviously my wife's been into the caffeine.
I don't drink, I was going to say I don't drink coffee, but then I realized there's caffeine in a lot of other things, so I'm going to shut up. And let's move on.
Okay, so...
we've got a character intro.
Yeah, the incomparable Leo Dela.
Incomparable.
Yeah.
Wow, you're getting fancy. Okay, Leo Dela is Wayne Dela's younger brother, youngest sibling. He is the of three, and then his parents are, of course, Rosie Dela and Leon Dela.
Exactly. I couldn't have put it better myself.
Okay.
So, let's start out with the
summary
of the show. You're obviously excited to get into it. So we start off with some moaning.
Yeah, well, technically we start off with stare at her desk. And then, yeah, there's some, like, odd, weird, like, moaning noises coming from Leslie. As we find out, as Sarah goes to investigate, he is lifting Leslie up as she's grabbing a bunch of stuff, like doing like inventory, and she's ordering a bunch of stuff that seems like that Sarah's telling her that they don't need, and she's being kind of annoying.
Yeah.
And then she is off to Grandma's or Etsu's or Elsie's place with TV.
Yeah, and Sarah is surprised that Elsie has agreed to talk to her about traditional medicines. And by the way, Leslie is the student nurse, if you forget from last episode, and she's still around in this episode, by the way.
Yeah.
So...
If otherwise, we can also watch the last episode.
Exactly. And then we get wedding talk.
No, before that, there's that weird awkward exchange between Sarah and Eric.
Yeah, right? Eric comes in to check on TV because TV's doing community service in the house.
Yeah, he wants to make sure he's done all his hours.
Yeah, and Sarah says he's mopped the floor like 16 times or something, he can go. And then she says, you could at least say hi, and he's like, hi. And then he closes the door. It's kind of like, that's all you got, man?
Yeah. Okay, so yes, then there is there's wedding talk with Rosie and Michelle.
Yeah, now the wedding talk.
Rosie's got this beautiful white long sleeve dress, very
traditional, like kind of North American dress. Not an indigenous dress though, a traditional wedding dress.
No. But it was a beautiful dress. I did like the long sleeves.
Yeah,
it was nice.
Very lacy.
And then she pulls out Michelle's dress, and it's this beautiful poofy pink dress.
Yeah, I guess depending on how you look at it, because Michelle gives
Michelle,
it a look right away.
Michelle and Jerry exchanged this look. That I love that. If you go rewatch it, honestly, it's the best. Then there is a bit of stag talk, which Rosie crushes.
Yeah. Yeah, Rosie knows that, the stag would be going on with George Smallboat.
Well, besides the stag has drinking, and that's the main thing.
She's not down with that. Mm-hmm. So anyways, then we have Leslie going to talk.
She's at Elsie's.
Yeah, she talks to Elsie about traditional medicine, and she's being a little bit of a jerk. Like it's almost like she's being very skeptical, and it's kind of like, well, why are you even asking her about her medicines?
She's like, and then like when she tells her about it, it's like, oh, okay, well, that doesn't grow around here, you've been living here all your life, and you don't know what's growing around here.
Yeah, I don't know. She kind of came off kind of rude to me.
It's red love. She's like, oh, okay, well, can you show me? Well, it's kind of far, like, but either way, like,
yeah, TV offers.
right after like being like. You're like, can you show me? It's like, after acting like that, okay.
Yeah, and then TV offers to take her out on the land. But he's got other plans.
Yeah, well, Elsie's thinks it's funny, and then Joey steals TV away.
Yeah. So then.
Michelle is trying on a dress.
Yeah. And then she says, or I think Eric says, "You don't look so bad," and then she says, "I look like a hooker crossed with the tooth fairy." And Eric actually makes a comment about her legs, and she's like, "What's wrong with my legs?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing. I just never seen him before." And you can tell he kind of, he's actually probably thinks she looks kind of good. And
I never realized you had such nice legs. It seemed more.
It's kind of like what he was getting at, right? Yeah, but then he didn't want to say it after because obviously there's the professional.
But they both got that little look after.
She's kind of like, oh, and she could tell she's taking it as a compliment then. So then Sarah and Ellen have like a little bit of a girl talk.
And Eric helps her pin the dress. He gets up close and personal.
Sorry, I got a little bit. So then Sarah and Ellen have like a little bit of a girl talk about Leslie, and she's kind of like, is she bothering you? And she's like, Sarah says she's, into everything. And she's and then I think Ellen says she's a real eager beaver, or something like that. And Sarah says she's driving her nuts, I think. And then what does Sarah say? Are we getting old? And then Ellen says, nah. And then they both kind of laugh.
Talk about this later.
Okay, sorry. But anyways.
Then we get the NWT from Jerry.
Yeah.
And he says to Leslie, you know what NWT stands for, right? No woman tonight. And then he
says it's a joke, and she says, yes, I know. I don't appreciate sexist jokes. It's kind of
like, so then Harris and Jerry and Leslie all talk. Harris is trying to pick her up.
Yeah, big time. He's,
and Leslie sees Eric, so she's like, I've got a meeting with him, and she uses him to get out of there, but also, at the same time, to get cozy up to Eric for no reason at all.
Yeah, well, you can tell, like, she's been asking questions about Eric since the last episode, and she made a little pass at him as well.
So, and then we find out the price of smokes at Jerry's store, $9.50. Remind you, this is well over 20 years ago.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of cash. But then again, you got to fly them all up there, And the government takes their
Either way, I just thought it would be. I thought it would be an interesting little thing. Yeah. So and then
TV sees them together.
Yeah.
It makes him mad, so he just hops outside and steals a snowmobile and takes off. I think it's Joey's, right? Joey's uncle's.
I think so.
So anyways, so then Rosie argues with Leon because she's really obsessed, you find out, with all the details of this wedding. Like she has certain things, like the thing with Stag and Doe, obviously, but then there's also, like, she wants everybody to be wearing certain things and stuff, but...
TV lights his butt on fire.
Yeah, he lights that on fire.
It's hilarious.
It's pretty funny when it happens.
Yeah, it's on the motorcycle and everything. It was amazing.
It's snowmobile.
Right. Why did I say motorcycle?
I don't know, but similar kind of thing.
It's funny because I'm even picturing like a snowmobile, snow on the ground. I'm picturing that whole scene in my head, and I'm still saying motorcycle. Anyways, Leslie questions Sarah about Eric. And she's like, well, so did him and his wife get a divorce because of you?
Yeah, that's kind of an awkward question that, like, just bust out there. Yeah, like, him and his wife split up. Was it because of you? Like, it's like, putting you on the spot. Like, and
then she, like, apologizes, like, 2 seconds later, and then just goes for it again.
Yeah, she says something awkward again. I forget.
So, yeah.
So then Elsie brings TV in with his fricasseed rear end.
Burnt buttocks.
Yeah, and she makes the cute little comment, he burned his butt.
Yeah, and oh my god, we love Wilma Pelly in this. This is one of, this is probably one of my favorite.
Yeah. And to add insult to injury,
parts with her.
Leslie has to treat him for his burnt ass. And TV is, kind of weirded out by it.
So yeah, Joe is in a suit.
Yeah, and he's just like, no, I ain't wearing this.
Yeah, he's just like, I can't wear it to Leon. Like, I just can't.
So then Leslie and Sarah talk. Leslie does, try to apologize. She's kind of awkward in her own way. But she at least seems to kind of try to smooth things over about Eric.
Mm-hmm.
So then Joey and TV talk.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's about he's trying to call TV out for being a liar, I think, for sleeping with Leslie. Is that what it was?
No, they're just talking about Leslie and his pants dropping.
Oh yeah, that's the
thing. First time they talk.
So TV gets a little bit exaggerative, I think.
Well, he doesn't say anything. He's just like, I promise I wouldn't tell, and like walks away and has like Joey like chasing after him like a puppy.
Yeah, I forgot. I was jumping the gun again a little.
Yeah, you really gotta pay attention to the notes. Like, if it's something like really big like that, I'll add it. Okay. Go for
Point taken. So then Rosie and Leon talk about the wedding, and this is when Rosie really starts to get psycho about everything being perfect, and she says that, like, everything has to be perfect or I'm not getting married, right? Something like that. And then Peter and Leslie, right? They have a talk. And then Peter's Leslie was brought there by Harris. It seems like Harris is trying to earn some points by saying, "Yeah, I'll get you in with the chief to talk about, traditional ways," and that doesn't go over too well.
Didn't work well at all.
No, Peter does not like Leslie and basically tells her to get lost.
And so she is upset, and she finds herself.
Knocking on Eric's on Eric's door.
And
he lets her in.
Yeah.
But nothing happens.
That's all we know yet. They haven't even talked yet or anything.
Okay.
Then Rosie and Leon.
Nothing happens
yet. All that's happened is she's walked through the door. Now we're off to Rosie and Leon. Okay. And Rosie gives Leon an ultimatum, she says she's like, what if I gave you an ultimatum, which is almost like giving him an ultimatum, and which leads to a fight and like him leaving and the wedding possibly being off.
Yeah, he says, why would I want to marry you anyway, or something. I don't want to marry you.
Yeah. And Leon crashes the night at Joe's. He's like,
poor Joe.
Can I stay the night? And Leon just grabs an extra mug.
Joe
Leon, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Joe just puts out an extra mug for him, which is kind of cute.
Yeah, oh my god, my heart like melted.
Joe's such a nice guy, It's he just doesn't say much, right? So then Leslie and Eric talk.
See?
Questions. Questions come up.
About his family, Sarah, everything like that.
And then that's kind of awkward. But then she tries to make a move, and then Eric shuts her down. And he says, it's just not right.
And she's kind of pissed.
Yeah, she takes off in a huff. Being rejected, I guess, isn't easy. So then Leon talks to Joe.
Kinda. Joe,
it's one-sided.
Joe's sleeping. We'll ask it again later on, but I figured, do you actually think Joe was sleeping here? I figured I'm going to ask it here so you guys also know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we'll ask it again at the end. Do you think he was pretending? So Leon talks to Joe about marriage and trust and everything, and it's this really, actually really nice, heartfelt moment from Leon, I thought.
Yeah.
It was nice to see his perspective as well.
Yeah, Leon...
You get to see both of their perspectives of things, and it's nice.
Yeah, well, you can see here that Leon, he really loves her, and he does want to marry her. It's just, he's worried that she doesn't trust him.
Yeah. And we find out Rosie's perspective in a little bit. So yeah, we find out Leslie's real, I shouldn't say real age, I mean...
Leslie, her actual age is 21. We didn't really know before.
Yeah, it's not like her age, but she was lying about her age before. It's
Yeah.
21 years old.
Okay.
Somebody younger than me. Technically not now.
So then Harris chases Leslie. Harris talks to Peter. And then Peter's kind of like, hey, your tongue's hanging out.
And Jerry.
And then Jerry mentions the wedding being off, says he's stuck with the wedding cake, right?
And Sarah hears Harris is purposeful to know about Eric and Leslie in front of her, so...
Yeah, Harris always causing trouble for Eric.
Yeah, what is his issue? We still have,
But here he's jealous, right?
Yeah,
he wanted
true.
Leslie, and he thinks that Eric got some of them, got some of her, which didn't happen.
Leslie is, Sarah is angry with Leslie.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about Eric, and Leslie is pissed at TV, who tries to help, and she kind of just sends him away.
Yeah, she's kind of in a bad mood.
And I think she's just tired of his puppy dog love, and him and Harris have been really after her since she got to town.
Yeah, she's had enough of being hit on, and being rejected by Eric didn't help either. Now,
yeah, well, it's not just hit on. They're chasing her, and they won't leave her alone. She's rejected both of them multiple times, and they're still.
Yeah, that's kind of gotta be tough.
So yeah, anyway.
So Peter and Michelle talk. He says, there hasn't been a wedding in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta get these two back together.
Yeah, about Rosie and Leon and intervening. Michelle doesn't really want to intervene, but Peter is pushing.
Yeah, he says, you're good at this stuff, right? So, and Michelle knows everybody, and she's got on good terms with everyone.
Yeah, but she just doesn't think it's right to intervene.
Yeah.
Joey and TV talk in front of Bertha, who does more of just a cute little appearance where you don't actually even see her talk. Joey even mentions her and they pan to her, but she doesn't talk, so I thought it was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, well,
so I thought I'd mention it. I thought it was kind of odd.
TV says, what's with her? Or something like that, and then they start talking about the nurse, right?
Yeah.
So it's like Bertha's mad that she knows that he's been messing around with the nurse, but anyways.
Yeah, but they pan to her and she didn't speak, so I just thought it was strange.
And then TV's all mad and he steals Joey's snowmobile again, but then he's like, that's my uncle's.
And then Joey's like, I guess she didn't like your butt!
Yeah, we get a good line from Mervyn Goody.
Wonderful.
So then Leon and George talk, and then he finds George all drunk, and turns out George had his stag without him. So then Leon takes George home, and George's significant other.
George's wife is what the credits say specifically.
Yeah. She says, why'd you bring him here? He says, because he couldn't stand up or something. So then George gives Leon the bottle, and ends up that's a bad time. He's down and out. By himself, nobody to comfort him, and he ends up with a bottle in his hand. So,
Sarah confronts Eric.
Yeah.
And Eric comes back at her.
Yeah. Yeah, and then she's like, you're such an idiot. And, it gets a little heated, but it shows that, there's still some spark there between them. So
yeah, and even after she says that, he still walks away. Like, and she should have said it. It kept screaming again until they realized to not walk away.
So then Michelle talks to Joe, and then he says, I didn't want to interfere.
I don't want to either.
Yeah. Leslie is confronted by TV about Eric and is pissed that she has to explain herself. Michelle talks to Leon and says, I want to talk to both you and Rosie together. So then, TV
brings Leslie the tea for her headache, and then he's got some other stuff to rub on her neck, and so he rubs it on, and then he starts, after that he sets it down and starts massaging her neck, and she starts moaning, though she made moaning noises when he was lifting her up, so this girl moans a lot.
But this one too, it was like, Jerry hears it, and it's true. It did sound like sex, kind of, if you're from Jerry's perspective.
Yeah, but I just meant from like her, and like TV already heard.
She's a moaner.
But yeah, exactly. Like, TV already heard her make those noises before. But anyways, Jerry hears, and then TV, he thinks she's into it, so he tries
to kiss her. Yeah.
Oh, he does kiss her.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of gets on top of her, right? So and
she smacks him and pushes him away.
Yeah, and he's like, "What do you want?" And she's like, "Get out of here."
Yeah. So Jerry, I guess we'll talk about what Jerry thought after when he gossips.
So Michelle talks to Rosie and Leon together, and kind of says, "Hey, you
she's
guys
got a great pep talk.
Yeah, you guys are miserable. Why don't you just be married and be miserable?" Then Leslie is crying when she talks, Sarah's asking her, telling her, "Oh, did you get those files sorted?" And she's crying. She's like, "Okay, what's wrong?" So then they have a whole talk about Eric and
what happened with TV and everything.
And then she finds out that Eric and her didn't sleep together.
And she admits that what happened with TV was partially her fault.
Yeah.
And he did stop, so.
Yeah, and she kind of says, and she kind of admits, a lot of stuff has been her fault. She's been giving off bad signals and stuff like that.
But yeah, also he completely stopped as soon as there was any negative signs. So.
Yeah.
Eric buys food reluctantly for him and Michelle. Michelle's thing is, I paid for pizza last night.
Yeah, Eric pretty slow to cough up the green there. I don't know what's up. Maybe the divorce settlement.
He wanted Michelle to buy food again.
Yeah. So then Jerry.
They eat together a lot.
Yeah.
Even before. Later on, I didn't notice.
So then Jerry, dropping a little of a gossip tidbit to the cops about TV and Leslie, saying something might have happened between them. He heard some resistance. And fighting.
He's almost making it seem like TV might have gotten rough with her.
Yeah. So then Ellen and Sarah have the talk.
And Leslie joins in.
Yeah. Ellen was trying to invite Sarah to the healing circle, and Leslie kind of just invites herself.
And
Ellen says no, but Sarah
reluctantly.
kind of sticks up for her, and she gets to go. So
and
then,
very reluctantly agrees.
Yeah, kind of rightfully so.
TV and Eric talk about Leslie and the whole moaning incident and everything, and TV, you could really see on his face. He's seemed really upset. He's I really thought she wanted it, man.
Yeah.
Really did.
And you can see too, this is kind of good. This is from Eric, he's not really being the cop. It's more like the father.
Yeah, he's telling him to apologize, and he, rightfully so. TV got mad at her afterwards. I mean, he's what the hell? I mean, he did leave, but he was rude just because
and Eric's
she
line
said.
is good too. He says, I need you to apologize so everyone knows that nothing happened. He says, "Who's everyone?" And he says, "Me." So basically he's saying, this is between you and me. I want you to be a man and show me you can be a man,
So then there's the healing circle and Elsie's turn.
Yeah, it's difficult, to hear. She talks about losing her husband, and you've never heard about her husband before. It's kind of interesting, but at the same time, difficult to hear that, they come out like that.
Yeah, well, she talks about how
coming off the land is, you know, a bad thing for
yeah,
the people.
and how her husband died just a day after they got there.
Oh, a year.
A year?
A year, yeah, after they got to Lynx River, he died. And that she thinks about him all the time, which is sad, you know.
Yeah, it was a really nice moment. And then Rosie's turn, and you get this nice moment from, I keep saying nice, you get a really moving moment from her, where you kind of find out like what really stemmed that want and desire for that perfect fairy tale dreamland wedding, and the drinking and her fears with Leon and everything, and it was just a really nice, beautiful moment.
Yeah, you find out that this fairy tale wedding, she saw a wedding from her aunt when she was very young. I think it's you know, and she mentioned, and that was what brought this whole perfection of wedding thing into her mind. So then Leslie kind of, like, this was kind of a
pisses me off.
Yeah, and she's kind of plays off the healing circle and says it's a bunch of hooey, I guess, and saying that, you know, until they address that Leon's alcoholism and Rosie's codependency, then, you know, it's all just a bunch of crap, basically.
Yeah, and
it's like, okay, like,
she's talking about using it for a research paper. So, in other words, she lied to Ellen about...
Yeah, she said everything. She wasn't going to do that.
No,
Ellen.
she said, like, it was the whole reason for being there was personal. She just wanted to know how to fit in better and communicate better.
So TV apologizes, then him and Leslie talk. It's, you know, they smooth things over.
Yeah, and she invites him to come look her up if he ever comes to town.
Yeah, in Vancouver. So then Michelle tells Joe that the wedding is back on, and he right away says,
"No tuxedo."
I'm not wearing a tuxedo.
I'll talk to Rosie. Is what Michelle. So she's got. It's never ending. She's got something else.
Yeah.
If it's not the axe.
So then we have the wedding.
And we've got Tina Bomberry looking beautiful in the white long sleeve wedding dress and.
Very romantic scene.
Joe, you don't get to see his like kind of traditionalized suit that as well. Like you don't get very good shots.
Yeah,
but you do get very nice shots of Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle looked beautiful.
With the beadwork and everything.
And her hair was braided.
Yes,
very pretty.
It was nice to see her hair braided like that.
You didn't see her very long.
It's different.
But you know, pay attention to her in this shot. She looked really nice.
Oh, absolutely beautiful.
And then Eric and Sarah.
Tina Keeper always does. But.
Yeah, but I mean, this is much nicer. Not in the Mountie gear.
True.
Sarah and Eric talk, and you can tell, you know, there's a little bit of makeup going on there. They talk about Leslie, and they say, you know, what was going on with that, and they both kind of say, yeah, I don't know, and then
they realize she caused both of their issues. She was saying one thing to one and another thing to the other.
Yeah.
That's what.
So then it's like, should we pretend she was the problem?
The cause of all of our problems, was it?
Like, sure, you know. So they're back together, and, you know, it's obvious they wanted to be, so that's good for now.
Tune in next week for Season 1, Episode 15. We've got a bit of a surprise for you with that episode, Southern Comfort. Adam Beach.
AB, baby.
He is one of our favorites for one of the characters that comes into the show but isn't, you know, there all the time and is a reoccurring role or whatever.
Makes a big impact. Though.
Sorry, I don't know how to describe that at all, so that was long.
So?
What do you think of Michelle's poofy dress?
Yeah,
were you with Michelle and Jerry? Or were you with Rosie, where you really, really liked it?
Yeah, I don't know, like, where I was on that one. I mean, I'm kind of with Eric. It was the first time you kind of see her, well, I guess that he's seen her. We did see her in the traditional dress with Rico Nez. But this is the first time we kind of see her in more of a feminine light. So I can see why he kind of thought it looked nice.
That's the first time you, like, really, like, see, like, well, you do really see her legs and everything. So it definitely was surprising. You got to see some pinkness. But the dress itself was awful.
Yeah, I don't think it was her.
It was like Pepto-Bismol barfed all over.
It didn't suit her. Let's put it that way. And yeah, it was.
Not just that,
in general,
like
it wasn't a nice dress.
it also just seemed it was like big, and if you could tell from like the bottom, it was kind of like off shape. And I think they kind of did that on purpose to make it just like look worse than it was. I think if they would have shaped it towards her, it could have fit better.
So, for question number 2. What do you think would have happened if Eric and Leslie actually slept together? I don't know. I think, personally, I think that, this kind of makeup between him and Sarah would have been done then, because Sarah was obviously very interested in what happened in that situation.
She was already mad before there was anything to be mad about. So, I don't think it would have. But you never know. It could have led to a really big confrontation that could have ended up with something. You never know with those two. They're quite...
Two. True, yeah. There is. I said 2 for this one.
So also with Joe earlier, we were talking about this. Do you guys think he was really sleeping? I personally do. But what do you guys think? Matt was talking when we were watching the episode how he actually thought that Joe was pretending.
Yeah, I kind of thought. I said it's kind of smart of Joe. If you don't say anything back, then the other guy will just assume you're asleep. He had already told Leon he was sleeping when Leon started talking to him. But yeah. Anyways, that's my take on it. Let's see what's yours. And you had another question. Well, we were gonna say. The shows have been getting more involved, so we've noticed that
we've been carrying on a lot. Like
kind of accidentally, the shows have been getting longer.
Yeah, and our show. We've got only so much time on the camera, so I'm ending up having to like crop videos or whatever to smush them together. So we want to know, what do you guys think? Do you guys like our carrying on-ness where we like really delve in deep into the show, or would you rather we talk about the show in 15 and like summarize the show within 15 minutes and then discuss questions after that?
Basically we could do a little more of an abbreviated summary, and then get more into the discussion part of it quicker. So let us know what you think. Or
we want to know what you guys think. We were thinking about changing it up, but whatever you guys think, if you guys like it, we're cool with it this way, but we want to know.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it just kind of happened because the early episodes, not a lot happens, but now it's like more and more is happening.
Yeah, and we're kind of really getting in and talking about it. So for us, it's really fun to get to talk with you guys about the show. So
let us know what you think, or if you have any other different suggestions on how we could do this show, we're always welcome.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We love you.
We'll see you next week. Thanks.